Good afternoon. It is good morning for me. I am coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona, actually Scottsdale. I am in my hotel room. My kiddos and I are on a little bit of a vacation, so don't mind my casual attire today. I am so excited to be here with y'all. Actually, I'm just going to silence my phone, so hold on just 1 second. All right. Here we go. Now it's really you and I. I am here with you. Welcome back to CX is Non-Negotiable 5-Star Secrets with me. And I am Katie Maris. Again, so excited to be here today. I want to talk to you about what it truly takes to become an organization that embodies a guest experience. That is able to step in and step up when something goes wrong and creating experiences that are consistent, which builds trust and loyalty. I didn't plan to start with this story, but I am going to tell you a customer experience story that happened to me last night. So I am here, as I mentioned, with my kids. They flew in yesterday, and I took them to dinner last night at a Brazilian steakhouse. I don't know if you have kids, but my 15-year-old son, I think he has a hollow leg because he just... I don't know where he puts it, but he eats and eats and eats. Just this morning for breakfast, he had 2 meals. For lunch yesterday, he had 2 meals. So I thought last night, let's go to a Brazilian steakhouse. Well, we went and we had just ordered our meal. So we're sitting around this table. There's 6 of us. And the girls and I decided to splurge and share a Wagyu steak. And then the boys all had the all-you-can-eat meat. Order our meal, order our sides, and a waitress comes over with all of our drinks. And it's our drinks and the next table's drinks. So it was like a tray full. I think there was about 5 to 7 drinks on there. And I think you know where I'm about to go. She went to take 1 drink off, and the rest of it spilled all over me. I was in a powder blue dress, Coke and milky lime drink, and a whole bunch of pop all down the right side of my body. Oh my gosh, it was less than okay. So anyway, I didn't freak out because she felt terrible. So I was just holding my cool. Literally, I was cooled by a whole bunch of ice drinks, and I was sopping wet. They came, they cleaned it up. A manager came in, swooped in right away and said, "Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I will take care of your dry cleaning. Let me know how it is, and I'm going to take care of your meal." And I thought, okay, cool. Like, that happened real quick. It was really smooth. I'm like, amazing. Well, when it came to pay the bill, I don't think she realized that we had ordered the Wagyu steak. She took off one of the boys' all-you-can-eat $65 meals and left everything else there. Now, I'm usually not a stickler. However, when you say I'm going to take care of your meal, the customer has an expectation that their meal, and not necessarily the table's meal, but their meal that they ordered would be taken care of. Disappointment is expectations not met. So I was disappointed. I called her back over and I said, "But you said you would take care of our meal. I've been sitting sopping wet and my dress is ruined. It's powder blue. It's got Coke all over it." And she's like, "Well, I can't take care of a Wagyu steak." Then why tell me you could? If they had said, "I will take care of all the all-you-can-eats," or whatever it is that they could take care of, I would have been okay with that. Any gesture would have been okay. But she set my expectation to the fact that she would take care of my meal. And then I felt really awkward, and I had to go back and forth with her on the bill. And needless to say, my dress, as I said, it's not even dry clean worthy. It is just ruined. And we were going to go out that night. So I had to go back to the hotel and get changed, and the whole night was interrupted. At that moment, it's not about the money that you are afraid to lose with your guest. At that moment, it's about what's doing right for the guest. Again, disappointment is expectations not met. And the only way you can truly ensure that you can recover properly, provide an experience that your guests, rave about, the only way that happens is if you obsess over your customer. And that's what I really want to talk about today, is the fact that customer experience, service recovery, looking at your customer and every customer that comes through the door and saying, how do I make these customers feel special? It isn't a nice to have anymore. It's not a nice thing that you maybe do sometimes. Unfortunately, and if you've heard me speak or we've interacted or if you've been on one of these lives, you know that I always say that customer experience is the tiebreaker. It is the delta. It is the thing that separates you from your competition. The way you make your guests feel is why they choose you. It isn't the food quality or the service quality or the make or model of your vehicle. It is the smile of the human that walks, that greets you when you walk through the door. It's being thoughtful. It's being intentional. It's making your guest feel special. That is the difference between being forgettable and being 5-star, between fighting in price wars and creating actual loyalty. And so I'm going to roll through today in a really quick manner what it really takes to make CX non-negotiable across your company, your organization, and your teams. All right, but before I get rolling, if you have a pen, a paper next to you, your notes, your phone, I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to answer it honestly. If your customers had to describe your business in one word today, right now, what would it be? If you want, you can drop it in the chat. If you don't, that's okay, but write it down. Be honest with yourself. What would it be? I'll get back to you soon. All right, so let's get real. Your business will only grow to the level you are obsessed about your customer. I want you to start really questioning why you aren't obsessing over the one human or the multiple humans, but the human that makes your business possible, that pays your employees, that gives you the life that you live and you love. You need to obsess over your customer internally and externally. You need every set of eyes, ears, and hands working together toward the same goal. Better for each other, better for the guest, and better for the business. Now that's alignment. And that is culture. You have to create that culture. You have to cultivate that culture because that is where loyalty begins. So I've been doing some research lately for our upcoming summit, the Now Summit, where we are focusing on bringing outside experts from the automotive industry into the automotive industry. And we have a room full of automotive individuals that are incredible and focused on raising the bar in the guest experience. And so I've been doing some research to make sure that our talks are relevant, to make sure what I teach you is relevant. And I've always admired Zappos, always. I haven't dug in a while anyway, super deep into Zappos, but I want to talk about Zappos a little bit right now. Now, if you don't know Zappos, ladies, I'm sure you do, online shoe retailer, but really they are more than a shoe retailer. They are in the people business selling shoes. Zappos don't just talk about culture. They've literally engineered an obsession around the customer. So their culture book, believe it or not, it is written entirely by employees. It's not written by HR. It's not written by CEOs and COOs and executive levels. It is written by the employees. The employees share in their own words what it means to be part of Zappos. It holds the entire company accountable to what the employees need and want. So perception is reality, and you always want to design an experience for the human you're serving. You don't want to design the experience for you, because in that situation, when you're serving a human, it's not about you, it's about them. And that goes internally and externally. I think it's brilliant that Zappos designs their experience based off of what their employees' needs and want. They get them excited and rallied around that one mission. What does it mean to be obsessed over the customer? And then they execute it with the customer. And here's another huge thing that they do. Zappos offers every single new hire a cash bonus to quit. So what does that mean? That means that when they come on board and they are getting their training within the first 3 months, Zappos will actually pay for their employees to leave if they don't want to be part of that one mission, rallying around what can we do for the customer? Put your money where your mission is, y'all. Like, the customer is the only reason you are thriving. And it's the only reason you're not thriving if they're not picking you. Culture is too valuable to fake. And if I have automotive folks on here, you know that your turnover is so high and you lose so much money, upwards of about $750,000 a year if you're an average size dealership, that is taken away from your bottom line. Culture keeps people. People that obsess over customers keeps your customers. Here's the thing about Zappos. Only 2 to 3% take that money and leave. The rest of them, they turn it down. And when they turn it down, it becomes a declaration. I belong here. I believe in the culture here. I'm obsessing over the customer with you, and I am all in. Because reality is, if you don't offer that money to leave, if you don't draw a line in the sand and stand up for what you believe in and what your company stands for, you're going to lose more money in the long run. They're going to become disgruntled. They're not going to work hard. Their productivity is going to go down. They're going to become a virus for everyone else. They're going to infiltrate the entire culture and then ultimately impact the guest experience. Zappos gives real authority to their team members. They don't hand them scripts and SOPs. They do give them decision trees. They do give them a process. But as long as they're making it right with the customer, that's all that matters. So I'm going to go back to that story today that I just told you at the beginning of this live here. They were so close to making it right with my drenched dress, but there was a disconnect because it wasn't about making it right for the customer, and it wasn't truly that. It was about protecting the bottom line. It was protecting the margins versus protecting the customer. Because if it was about protecting me and the 5 people I was with, which we will never go back there, by the way, the 5 people we are with, then taking care of my meal and living up to the expectations they set. By the way, they set those expectations. I did not ask for anything. They set that expectation. If they were truly obsessed over the customer, it wouldn't have been even a consideration. You don't build culture by chance. You don't build an experience by chance. You don't hire the right people by chance. You need to build it, be intentional, and then you need to protect it. You need to make it so clear and so strong that the guest experience is so important to you that you only allow those in that believe the same. All right, I have another question for you. Would your employees choose to say, now this is a big one, this is a mirror moment, y'all. Are you ready for this? Would your employees choose to stay if they were given that kind of choice? Would they write your culture book with pride or complaints? Answering that question should be very, very eye-opening. If you can't answer and say, yeah, they would choose to say, or my gosh, they would sing from the rooftops about how incredible it is working here and take pride in creating this culture book and creating the culture, then you know not only are you losing incredible people, but you are losing the guest experience. Your culture, your people, the experience you provide is actually your biggest asset, but it can be your biggest liability. Your competitors, and they do this, but they can copy all your products, store layouts, makes of the vehicle, trim levels of the vehicle, or if you're not in automotive, they can copy recipes, they can copy design. They can undercut your prices, but they cannot copy your culture. They cannot copy your people. They cannot copy that experience that is individually given to each one of your guests. And that's your advantage. It's time we turn things, right side up. If you want to deliver this experience that's consistent with every guest every time, you have to start looking at your people, your culture, and the experience you provide as your biggest asset or your biggest liability. But choose it to be an asset. Because when your culture is alive and aligned and protected, you attract the right people. You keep them and you create customers who feel the difference in every single interaction. Here's the shift I want you to make. This is a big one. If you've worked with me, I always say the service drive should no longer be the service drive because service is transactional. I'm going to give you something for your money. It should become the experience drive. Just a shift in that word changes the whole outlook of what your team is expected to deliver. It shifts the entire culture. It's very powerful. But this is the shift I want you to make overall for your company, for your team, and for your culture. Write this one down. CX isn't a department. It is the whole entire organization. You're not just a store. You're not just a rooftop, a dealership. You're not just a service drive. You're not just a retailer. You are an experience company that happens to sell cars, that happens to sell coffee, that happens to sell shoes or clothing. You are an experience company that happens to sell a product. And when you align every single decision around one mission, to provide the best experience possible, to obsess over your customers, you stop competing for transactions and you start winning trust and loyalty. You wow your customers, you wow your employees, you wow your partners and your stakeholders, you wow everybody that has their hand in the company cookie jar, and you win. And that's a fact. Your people help you win the guest experience. The culture, your North Star, your brand promise, the principles that back up your brand promise, the process that you put into place, the culture, what you rally around, that one mission is your success. So I'm going to give you a few bullet points here that will tell you whether or not you're building a customer experience obsessed culture. So you know this when employee engagement is normal, where they're excited. It's not rare. It's normal. When they talk about the culture being a positive in your engagement scores, when they will step up and do the right thing, when they want to make your guests and employees feel special. Turnover is low because your people want to stay. Non-negotiable standards empower people to be heroes. +1 moments are shared like trophies. They are obsessed over and celebrated over, and that creates the right hamster wheel to be a part of. Innovation isn't a once a year meeting. It's literally a daily conversation. How do we make this better? How do we make our internal experience better? How do we protect our culture? How do we protect the guest's experience? And what can we do to innovate as our customers will always change? Technology will change. Your employees' lives will change. So how are you innovating? It's a daily conversation. And at every level of your business, the conversation always comes back to one thing: the quality of the experience that you provide. Because at the end of the day, without your customer, without your team members delivering an experience your customers can't live without, you have no organization. You have no company. So here's your challenge. Ask your team this week, is your culture worth lifetime loyalty? Because you'll never build lifetime customers without a culture that your employees can rally around. Now, be prepared. The answers might not be what you want to hear. And that might hurt. Those mirror moments are not always easy. But if you do something with the information that's given to you, that pivot is in the right direction to gaining lifetime employees and customers. Protect your culture, obsess over your people, make customer experience the heartbeat of your entire business, because customer experience, it isn't optional anymore. Sorry, clearly it's 9:20 here. I need more coffee. Customer experience isn't optional anymore. It must become non-negotiable. A culture that your team can rally around must become non-negotiable. All right, y'all. That's what I have for you today. I am grateful that you joined me. I hope that you have learned a little secret, taken a few nuggets to creating a 5-star culture, a 5-star experience for your internal customer, and a 5-star experience as a result for your external customer. But really all it takes is you looking in the mirror, asking the right questions, and being daring to do differently. Make the change. Now go create one moment of unreasonable hospitality, whether it's for your employees, your customers, or your partners, and watch the ripple effect. Watch what it creates. Have the best rest of your week, y'all. I will see you next week. Bye.